Happy New Year, What the Vet fam. We're back to annoy you. So today, Joyce is primary example as why I do not do human med because humans are gross. She's suffering from a patient-induced crud, so get well
Yeah.
soon. Get well soon. But today, we are going to talk about that fine line between being a pet parent and that pet nurse. How you deal with that mentally, how you process it, make your decisions, what it does to you emotionally, what you think it may or may not do to your pet emotionally, because obviously your behavior towards them may or may not change. You're doing mean things to them that hurt their feelings. And I know, quite a few of you commented on your experiences with that. Some of you can participate in your pet's treatments, surgeries, anesthesia, things like that. Some of you can't. You choose not to, or you just can't. So we would like to talk to you guys a little bit about that. And Joyce, I know you and I have both experienced those things together where I've turned over care of my pet to you, and I couldn't be there for those things. So how did you experience those with your little guys?
So, have I had something as traumatic as what you went through with my own pets? No. Now, have I put them through procedures and sedations and like mass removals, something like that? Yes. I'm a little too nonchalant about it in a sense that I'm like, yeah, they're going under anesthesia. I can monitor them. Everything's going to be fine, right? So
Yeah.
but when Allie Dog went for her procedure, when she got spayed and that, they would not allow me, even though I told them I was fine. But I physically moved the technician. Shannon, if you're watching this, you'll know. And they were like, no, I'll wake her up. But Allie Dog was screaming, and I said, get the fuck away, pretty much. I know my dog.
Yeah.
So, for people that don't know Allie Dog or haven't watched any of the episodes, she's a little terrier mix. She can go really high pitched. But the minute she saw me, she stopped. She stopped screaming and she was like, okay, mom's here. And then that was it. And she calmed down. And I was like, no, I actually know that scream. She needs to, she is confused. Let her see me.
Yeah.
And I had an old English Mastiff before Allie Dog. And I would let him get used for a lot of demonstrations, right?
Yeah.
So if someone wanted to come in and do a demonstration on x-rays, he would get knocked down so people could do it because he was big enough from multiple people to look at and work with, and so he would get knocked down a lot and I would be fine with it, but they would be like, can someone else monitor because I don't trust Joyce paying attention? And I was like, fuck you, yes I can, I just know my dog under anesthesia at this point.
Yeah.
I know, but have I had a traumatic event like you? No. Where it was pretty much go time.
Yeah. It's difficult because I've been in the same situations, you have before, and certain pets of mine, I've been able to be that strong person and be able to be there and do things for them. But even with when I had Busa, but when I had Ducati, you, Dr. Martin, Molly, Allie, and Chris, I turned her completely over to you guys and was like, do what you got to do. I cannot see my dog under anesthesia. That one, for some reason, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And it was hard, and even, with my cat, with Pops, you remember we had to give her 3 different cocktails just to try to get Prop in her to get blood to save a cat's life. She got kicked off the donor list, but it is what it is. And the only one that was able to recover her and deal with her was Molly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She didn't try to eat her like she did the rest of us. And I had to step back. She shish kebabbed my arms, came for my face, everything. But with Bricks, it was different because he's not just my dog. He's our family dog. And I'm making decisions on behalf of 5 other people as a technician and as his parent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm in the moment, you have those skills and those abilities to calm down clients and have conversations with them. But when you're the client and you're trying to have those conversations with yourself, or your coworkers are, or your doctors are trying to talk to you, how many of you just completely just zone out and you can't even think or fathom what's happening at that point in time enough to even be there for your animal, to make sure that you can get them through anesthesia and not have to turn them over to somebody else. I have never encountered that much of a block in my life.
Right.
And taking him home to do his aftercare and his recovery, he's used to snuggling with me in the bed and hanging out on the couch, and we sit and eat apples together, to forcing him to have to stay in a cage throwing an e-collar on him, shoving pills down his throat, replacing his IV catheter when he stepped on, his line and he pulled it out. Like, he looked at me completely different. Like, he was scared of me for days.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we talked about, how do you turn the nurse on and the mom off, and the mom on and the nurse off? Like, how do you make, I don't know. And I had people tell me, oh my God, you're too much of a nurse right now. You need to be his mom. I got to keep him alive, bro. I'm not
Well,
like your,
I was gonna say, unfortunately for the pets that veterinary technicians have, we tend to not accumulate normal animals.
yeah,
We accumulate things that unfortunately are a little bit of a medical nightmare. Ergo, they sadly get poked and prodded a lot more than the normal dog next door that's happy and healthy, or
yeah,
because again, we're vet techs, we use our pets for other people to practice on.
yep, for learning experiences.
Like, Red's been used as, my horse has been used for vet techs to learn large animal stuff for their practicums. I'm like, yeah, go ahead, learn how to draw blood on him, learn how to do certain things with him, how to do certain wraps and things like that. I have a horse that is very much used to getting IM injections, that he's stall aggressive, but I can be in his stall, stab him with an 18 gauge needle, give him an IM injection, and then a cookie afterwards, and he stands there.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, unfortunately, they're used to it in that sense, but like, obviously he doesn't hold it against you that much more now because he's on the up and up. It's just unfortunately the nature of the beast for being a vet tech pet.
yeah, 100%. And I mean, that's how, like, my dog Raven.
We'll rant about that when people say, yeah, when people say like, oh, you have to be we don't get that. It's just
No,
like nurses at home that have to take care of their children. Who else is going to medicate them? It's not going to be their dad. It's going to be the
yeah,
nurse
yeah. It's
or mom,
just,
whichever one. But like, you know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah. And like, we had him there, and I let my boss and our other technician, Jose, he's fantastic, take over. And they're like, we'll do the x-rays on him. I've been having issues with my back. And they're like, yeah, we don't want you to have to wrestle him. But he was being a terror, like, not aggressive. He was just scared because he's just a baby. He's just a baby. He's 90 pounds, but he's just a baby.
He just
So
just a baby.
he's just a baby, and he was freaking out on the table, and I could hear him, and like my soul like was leaving my body. And I went over there. I was like, I'm gonna help. I threw a gown on, and I leaned down and I whispered that in his ear. I said, he's just a baby. He's just a baby. And he stopped. He stopped fighting them, and his tail was smacking the table. And he did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then when I did his follow-up rads a couple days later to
Yep.
see if anything had moved, he was losing his absolute shit. And again, I stepped in. I was like, I got him, and I had him. And my tech Carly was holding his back feet. She's so good. She's so gentle. But I had Bricks by the front, and he took his front legs, his paws, and wrapped them around my head and like pulled me close to him. And I was like, he's just a baby, and he was good for everything. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, okay, there's you are, there's my family, but you're being an asshole to me right now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, why? Like, they don't understand.
They do in things that aren't normal. Exactly.
They're like,
It's not the norm.
you lay and place finger in my butt. Wait a minute, you. You know? But like, it's so hard in certain situations to turn that tech off and turn mom on, or turn mom on and turn the tech off. Like, it's, how do you guys find that happy medium? Oh, and I've been there before, but right now with my mental state and whatnot, I struggled with it so bad, and I'm so thankful for the teams that I had on my side to help me make those decisions and help me get through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I turned into a little bitch, like, shut down,
Yeah. I mean, when Allie was super sick, when we were at the location before the place that shall not be named, she had to be hospitalized a couple times. And like, I know I didn't put the IV catheter in her one of the times. She was a parvo puppy, and that's how I got her. So her front legs are trash. Like, you still couldn't put
Oh, wow.
an IV in there. Like, they're so scarred up from parvo and needing multiple catheters that would just blow. But
Yeah.
her back legs are fantastic. And so like, I'm like, you could try the front, but I wouldn't even bother. Just go to the back, and you could put an 18 gauge in and you were going to be fine. But
Yeah.
like, and I know I didn't have to deal with the surgery aspect. I had to deal with her being in the hospital for multiple days aspect.
Yeah.
because her hematocrit was, I think, at most 66%. And then she had HGE, which then turned into pancreatitis.
I mean, go
So,
big or
yeah,
go
so
home, bro.
like literally. And, you know, like she'll eat anything and everything, but like she wouldn't even eat like the first day. And that's also when I had Rascals, and I couldn't handle Rascals by himself without his emotional support alley dog. And so he ended up living his best life at the hospital free of charge. They had an ensuite cage that was for like a lab. Alley dog's in this tiny little corner, curled up in the tiniest ball, dying, and then there's Rascal in the front of the cage going, "Hey guys!" running around the hospital living his best life. And so like they had to deal with me worrying about her during that time.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I had to trust the care that she was going to be getting, which only some of the techs gave the care that she should have gotten. So
Yeah.
I had to deal with that.
Yeah.
You know, I came in and her bed was full of pee, and, you know, she was supposed to go out every 3 hours because she couldn't hold it every 4 hours, and she wouldn't, and they wouldn't, you know, it was a whole thing. So they had to deal with me on the aftermath of that.
Yeah. And two, like we don't, and it's hard. I think it's weird for our coworkers too, because you're not a typical client at that point. You are there behind the scenes, seeing what's going on and
Yeah.
calling them on their shit, you know?
Yeah, yeah, there was, and one of them apologized. They're like, we just were too, and I get, you guys are busy. That's fine. I understood that night. You know, and they also, unfortunately, still had Rascals to deal with, being Rascals, living his best life. And so, like, she did feel really bad. She helped me clean her up and everything like that. But, you know, other times, not so much. So I had to deal with that fact. So I did take her out of the hospital the first time, probably a night before she should have.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to have her deal with that again.
No, she'd have been better off, probably better off at home. Not to say anything towards your
Yeah.
coworkers or anything. One, you take the
But yeah,
some of the load off of them, and two, you give her the comfort that she needs, you know?
yeah, we slowed down her fluids throughout the day, then gave her a crap ton of sub-Q fluids, and then I had injectable buprenorphine to give to her through the night. So we did that for the night, and then she was in the clear after that and could go on like tramadol and stuff like that.
And like too, like those of you that are coworkers to technicians and you have to take care of your coworkers' pets, dude, how do some of you feel about that? Are you nervous? Are you chill about it? Are you cool? Like, I'm okay with it, but it makes me nervous. And I don't know how you guys felt when I just like handed Ducati over, like, here, you do her CT, you do her scope, you do her x-rays, I'm staying out of it. You know, like that's sometimes to me feels like a lot of pressure. Oh, I only want you to deal with my dog. Your dog's an animal.
I was gonna say, I was like, there's a pressure aspect to it, but also if someone was going to hand over their pet to someone, I would have wanted it to be with me. You know what I mean? One, I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it. I'm not gonna fuss and muss, and that pet's gonna get amazing care. But also, I want to be there to make sure we don't find something bad.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know, I
I
don't
do.
want to.
When you hear the words from Martin's mouth, what the fuck is that? During a CT, that's a problem. On your
Yeah.
own pet, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So do you mind if we go to scope after this? You do what she's in your hands, do whatever you want. Okay, good. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, my whole heart's on. But yeah, no, just I know a lot of us go through a lot of these things with our own pets, and you know, it's just, and I don't know if it's just like I said, my mental state that it literally sucked the life out of me, you know, having to make the decisions, because it wasn't just me that it affected, it was my whole family. You know what I mean? I had to think about everybody, and like his life is in my hands, and I can't let them down at the same time. You know what I mean? Like either decision that
Yeah.
I make, we could lose this dog, you know? So it was rough, but I know people have encountered worse. I mean, look at Kip that we used to work with, dude. She takes the worst of the worst, needs the amputations, their face taken off, like all kinds of things. And I'm sure she balls through it like a boss, but like, was my buddy. I don't know.
Yeah.
And like some of the comments were, you know, this RVT in the UK, she's so freaking sweet, where she was talking about she's done everything for her pets. She has, but then there's times to where you can't. You just can't get through it, you know? But I don't know. I was just curious about how, even though you've done this for so long, I don't think we've ever had conversations about how to deal with your own pet in a rough situation, we just do it. We don't talk about it
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this is how I felt. No, bitch, we just got up through it. Either you take it from me, I'll take your pet from you, or we'll just ball through it together. And I mean, I remember
Yeah.
standing outside of the place that shouldn't be named with Libby because I got a phone call that my dog got a hold of my cat, and it wasn't good. We were gloved down and standing on the curb, and I'm dying, Joyce. Like, my heart was in my throat. I'm sweating, but I'm ready to go because that was my baby. Like, for her, I would have turned everything off and taken care of, you know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't have been a tech mom
Yeah.
situation. It'd been like, we're fucking it up. But to have Libby standing there next to me, and I knew if I failed, if I couldn't do it, that she was right there. And that is what mentally got me through that. Granted, she showed up
Yeah.
fine, and my dog was more fucked up than my cat was, but
Details.
exactly. So, yeah, I don't know. Let us know what you guys think, what your experiences are, and some of the rough stuff that you've had to encounter. Like, we're talking about pancreatitis, HGE, parvo, and then mine was GDV and foreign body from fucking clumping cat litter. Anyway, so yeah, like, but I know you guys have probably had to deal with a whole hell of a lot worse than, you know, some of those things, and had to make split-second decisions whether your pet lives or dies. I mean, chime in the conversation. Let us know, you know, what you've been through and how you were supported through it, or how you weren't supported through it by either your family or your coworkers. And just, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm delirious at this
Yeah.
point.
I mean, yeah.
Just talk to us, please.
I'm only so much. Please, someone talk to us. You know, we got Tweedledee and Tweedledum over here. One who can't handle the lights because she has the flu. And then we got one who's exhausted beyond doubt due
Yeah.
to her dog eating clumping cat litter that then bloated as they were prepping for surgery.
Oh, yeah. I looked at the nurse that was doing anesthesia while I was prepping him. We both looked at each other like, she's like, he's just chubby. I was like, Ken's. She's like, I'm trying to make you feel better. You're not. You're not.
You're
And then
not.
Dr. West from Best Friends Animal at it was an Animal Care and Surgery Center in Palm Harbor, dude. I cannot say enough good things about those girls and that doctor. Like, she jumped in like, no problem. Except for when she
She's like, all
palpated.
right, let's just
Yeah, she palpated him after we started the barium series, right? We got him over there, and she, you know, was like, all right, well, let me do barium first before we decide to actually cut, because there was still kind of back and forth on it. And we did the barium.
Yeah.
They got the barium in him, and then they did, you know, they waited 20 minutes, popped the rad. She's like, okay, well, let's wait 25 more minutes and see if any of it moves, right? So we're like, okay, cool. We get him down off the x-ray table. Bro, she barely touches his caudal abdomen for an exam. His barium was all over the front of my scrubs. Just, whoa. Okay, it's time to knock him out now. And I'm like, okay. But somewhere between x-ray and surgery, his stomach flipped. Like, he bloated. Like, when she made the initial cut into the abdominal wall, it is very rare for you to be met with stomach. And that's what popped out of that incision.
Yeah.
It was bad. Something with Wong.
It was bad.
Yeah. So, anywho, I digress. Before I get in an accident, cut me off one more time. Sorry. This fucking forests, bro. Listen, another thing I'm rant. Okay, in Florida, we are fucking full. There is no vacancy. So don't be coming down here with your slow ass driving, putting your hazards on when it's raining and shit, buying up all of our real estate. Don't do it. Non-veterinary rant over.
Yeah, so drop a comment, guys. Snow.
It just, welcome to Joyce in my life, okay?
Yeah. But yeah, if you guys experience anything like that, drop a comment, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Hopefully without both of us being in the dark.
Right? Happy New Year, everybody.
We'll see you in the cottage.
Oh my, you did not.